Beginning as a standalone film in 1994, Stargate spawned a slew of TV series and spin-off movies. Since the franchise spans decades, there's been quite a few cast changes over the years. We're here to let you in on the real reasons why these actors left the Stargate franchise. In the original film, we all remember how Kurt Russell played Colonel Jack O'Neill, while James Spader played Dr. Daniel Jackson.
How much time do we have left?
45 seconds.
He's leaving. Turn it off.
I'm trying to. I can't disarm it.
Though the iconic duo were perfect for their roles, neither of them went on to act in the spin-off series SG-1, where O'Neill is played by MacGyver vet Richard Dean Anderson and Jackson is played by Michael Shanks. What could have caused Russell and Spader to jump ship after the original film's success? There isn't one definitive answer, but we can sum it up by saying it just wasn't in the cards for them. The original filmmakers had nothing to do with SG-1, so the show's creators ended up tweaking various aspects of the universe to better suit a sprawling series. For example, the enemy alien Ra was supposedly part of an extinct alien species in the movie, but the TV series completely contradicted that. And besides this, it took 3 years after the release of the film for the series to hit the airwaves. By this time, Russell and Spader had moved on to other projects, none of them in the realm of television. Unlike today, moving from film to TV in the 90s was seen as a demotion. Possibly the biggest name on the show, Richard Dean Anderson took the role of Colonel Jack O'Neill a few years after his long stint as problem solver extraordinaire MacGyver in the late 80s and early 90s. Due to this, he brought an endless parade of fans with him when he signed on to the series in 1997. He played the Colonel diligently for many years, but stepped down at the end of Season 8, only appearing in select episodes of Seasons 9 and 10. Subsequently, the writers were forced to change the trajectory of the show and introduce a replacement leader for the SG-1 team, which would ultimately be the character of Cameron Mitchell, played by Ben Broder. According to an interview with Gateworld, he said he quit the show in order to spend more time with his daughter. His only child, Wiley Quinn Anderson, was born in 1998 during the second season of SG-1. As the show progressed, he felt more and more guilty for forfeiting family time for the many demands of his role. By seasons 6 and 7, the producers had started to reduce his workload. By season 8, he had become a minor character altogether and only appeared occasionally from that point forward. Amanda Tapping played the highly intelligent Samantha Carter.
We don't know, sir, but it branched out through very specific areas. Network and language software followed by system and application software.
She was a member of the cast for all 10 seasons, and then reprised her role in the 4th season of the spin-off series Stargate Atlantis. After that, she only showed up once in a while as a guest actor. So, where did she go? According to an interview with She Knows, she left the franchise to focus on her own show for the Sci-Fi Network, which was called Sanctuary. In addition to starring in the series, she also produced and directed a few episodes. After all, she had experience to call upon from her SG-1 days, having directed the episode Resurrection. It's pretty likely that these forays into behind-the-camera work helped her develop higher ambitions. Michael Shanks played archaeologist Dr. Daniel Jackson, who sort of served as the conscience and cultural liaison of the SG-1.
Damn, you have your answer. Now let us go.
Though he ultimately remained for the entirety of the show, he did temporarily leave during the 6th season. He didn't get terribly specific about the reasons for his departure, but he has said that his character wasn't being used to his full potential. Shanks said in an interview with CyberX, "I had begun to think the show would work just as well without me, and that's when I felt I had to go." This is understandable, since at the end of Season 5, Daniel Jackson had finished his story arc with his wife, Shaeri, which was the whole reason his character even joined SG-1 to begin with. At the end of Season 5, Jackson ascended, which is sort of like dying, but not really. The writers brought him back in Season 7 by having him descend back into the mortal realm. Altogether, Shanks didn't have any qualms with the writing team, and later insisted, "I thought the writing staff was just great and did a marvelous job." Corin Nemec initially played a minor character named Jonas Quinn, who was introduced in Season 5. The following season, Quinn was revamped as Daniel Jackson's replacement since Michael Shanks had left the show.
Well, let's give it a shot.
An optimistic alien capable of learning at incredible speeds, Quinn was eager to prove himself valuable to his people, the alien race known as the Langarians. Even more so, he wanted to prove himself to the SG-1 and was deeply afraid of failure. Though most fans were likely miffed by the sudden departure of Dr. Jackson, Quinn quickly found his way into everyone's hearts. The success was short-lived, however, since Jackson made his return in Season 7. The result forced Jonas Quinn to become a minor character again, and he only appeared as a guest a handful of times after that. Nemec was surely a gentleman about his short tenure, and was just happy to have been on the show at all. In an interview with Kurt Manwaring, he said, "Michael Shanks originated with that show. His return was very welcome. Though of course disappointed, I was still happy for Michael. Being an actor on a great show like Stargate is the best life ever." Don S. Davis played the leader of Stargate Command, General George Hammond. His character managed the multiple teams that traveled through the Stargate, including the SG-1. Despite his elite status, he was nonetheless a benevolent leader who didn't let bureaucrats sabotage the program. He fully supported his personnel and believed in never leaving soldiers behind. Davis played Hammond for 8 straight seasons before health problems forced him to re-examine his priorities. So for seasons 9 and 10, he was only a guest actor. In season 9, he was promoted and thus left Stargate Command. Hank Landry, played by Beau Bridges, stepped in to replace him. Fans hated to see him go, but it was in no way a hard thing to understand. Health always takes precedence. Davis reprised his role in Stargate Continuum. However, this was sadly his last appearance, as he passed away from a heart attack in 2008. In the Stargate universe, the writers gave him the same fate, in which he passed away off-screen. To commemorate him, the franchise named a spaceship after him, the USS Hammond. Rainbow Sun Francks played Lieutenant Aiden Ford, one of the main characters of the spin-off series Stargate Atlantis. He was an expert in explosives and a guy who was willing to put his life on the line to save his teammates, which he demonstrates on a few occasions.
Hey man, this isn't supposed to be fun.
But Ford would be the first major loss of Stargate Atlantis. He was replaced after 1 season by Ronan Dex, played by Jason Momoa, and became a minor character in Season 2. The reasons for this are not crystal clear, but it has been speculated that the writers simply wanted to mix things up and keep things interesting, or just happened to be the first victim. He explained in an interview with Gateworld, "I think they want to make sure that a hit show has lots of twists and lots of this and that. Something had to happen, and I just happened to be the one." In his eyes, the character didn't get the development that he had hoped for in Season 1, and perhaps another season would have given his character time to prove himself as a mainstay. Regardless, he holds no grudges. Torri Higginson, who played Dr. Elizabeth Weir, is another casualty of Stargate Atlantis. During the transition from Season 3 to Season 4, Stargate SG-1 had finally ended its 10-season run, which meant it would no longer be a lead-in to Stargate Atlantis. Because of this, the writers again felt the need to freshen things up by shifting characters around. Weir was the leader of the Atlantis expedition, and along the way, she proved to be an exceptional manager and negotiator.
You must understand our situation. If you can't stop Oberoth...
I said I would do everything in my power.
Sadly, in Season 4, Weir sustained severe injuries and could no longer lead the Atlantis team. This was the show's way of relegating her to a minor character, and she eventually faded from the show altogether. Another unfortunate casualty of Stargate Atlantis was Dr. Carson Beckett, played by Paul McGillion. He was the chief medical officer, and one of the more compassionate and thoughtful characters.
Oh, it's definitely human.
I don't know. Maybe it was a nosebleed.
Is that supposed to be a joke, Colonel?
Beckett was a fan favorite, and he played his part well for multiple seasons. Much to everyone's dismay, though, he died unexpectedly in an explosion near the end of Season 3. He did sort of return in Season 4 and 5, but only as a clone and in a much more minor role. It was McGillion's belief that this sudden end is yet another example of the writers and producers feeling the need to shock the audience and always keep them on the edge of their seats. It's sad, but at least in a roundabout way, it complimented McGillion. They wanted to kill off a beloved character for shock value, and that's exactly what they did. The effect rippled throughout the show's fan base. Teryl Rothery was technically a guest star, but nonetheless felt like a main character. It probably helped that she appeared in over 70 episodes. Rothery played Dr. Janet Frazier, the gentle physician who healed SG-1 of the wounds they suffered off-world.
The MRI was negative. The DNA screen matches what we have on file.
While Frazier usually remained at Stargate Command on Earth, she would sometimes leave the base and work in the field as a medic for soldiers who were wounded during firefights. As a result, she was occasionally in harm's way, and in Season 7 of SG-1, she was shot and killed. It was quite a shock for Stargate fans, who had been warned via a teaser trailer that an important character was going to die. Though it was hinted that it might be Jack O'Neill, it turned out to be Frasier. Rothery got to show up one last time on the Season 9 episode Ripple Effect, where she appeared as a version of Frasier from a parallel universe. It was reported that the show's executives pressured writers to kill off a character. Co-star Don S. Davis was frustrated by the decision to kill off Frasier, and called the higher-up responsible some stupid bean counter. According to Davis, the decision was made because the show had moved from Showtime to the Sci-Fi Channel, and the new network wanted something major to happen to hook viewers. Unfortunately, that something turned out to be Frasier's untimely death. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about Stargate are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.